Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Agudo, and today we're going to talk about Erik Ten Hag. Now that the dust has settled on the FA Cup victory, what an incredible victory it was. I personally was doubting our team, but man, they saved the best performing for the last game. And not only did they pull it off, they pulled it off fantastically. And we are now FA Cup winners. These are trophies. But the build up to that game and the aftermath of that game disappointed me, and especially in Enios, they were supposed to come in and be the overseer of everything, and that there shouldn't be any more leaks that are coming out of Manchester United. But the way that story just dropped 2 days before Man United played the FA Cup final about Erik Ten Hag being sacked just overshadowed the occasion. I'm glad it didn't get to the players or to the coaching staff, but that was terrible timing. And was hoping Enios would have done a better job than the Glazers in keeping that noise away and making sure stuff like that don't happen. And while I was thinking how incredible rude and betrayed Erik Ten Hag is going into a cup final, and there's already stories that he's going to be sacked, almost remind me of exactly what happened to Louis van Gaal when he got sacked after winning an FA Cup for Manchester United, also another Dutch manager too, and it wasn't looking good. But it's a week now, and Erik Ten Hag is still at the job at the moment, but there's so many stories about him getting fired, and I believe there's no smoke without fire. And they potentially going to let go Erik Ten Hag, but I don't want that, and most Manchester United fans do not want that. And I have about 5 reasons why we should keep Erik Ten Hag. And in these videos, we're going to go through all of that, and I'll explain to you why keeping Erik Ten Hag is important. So let's get into it. The number one reason is trophies. Erik Ten Hag had won a trophy in his last 5 seasons. 3 seasons back with Ajax, he won trophies every single season when he was with Ajax. The only time he didn't win it was the Dutch league was cancelled because of COVID. But Erik Ten Hag had won a league or a trophy every single season when it was with Ajax. It continued the same tradition with Manchester United. In his first season, he delivered us the Champions League football, which is what we wanted. He finished 3rd, and he won a League Cup, and he got into a FA Cup final. So his first season was incredible, a bit of overachievement in my humble opinion. So Erik Ten Hag overachieved in his first season. In his second season, he won a trophy, even though he had the worst season in Manchester United history. He still delivered a trophy. That is a winner mentality, no matter how you put it, no matter what way you try to judge it. That is a winner mentality, and rarely do you let go of coaches like those. So that's number one. Number 2, to me, is young players. Out of all of the managers' options we are looking at right now, there's not a single manager out there that is a better developer of young talent like Erik Ten Hag is. He have done it in Ajax with the players like De Ligt, De Jong, Van der Beek, and I can name more. His ability to develop young players is incredibly high, and there's not a lot of many managers out there that could do that. And with Manchester, he already showed that also with Manchester United. Kobe Mainoo, probably the greatest midfielder to come out of academy, seen Paul Pogba, and he's looking like he's going to be a very, very good player for us. Garnacho, he was him who pushed him through. And consider how well our under-18 just did this past season with winning the Premier League 2 and all the other 2 trophies they won. Our under-18 is so good. There's a chance that some of them are going to be playing for the first team in a couple of years. And who's a better person to oversee that than Erik Ten Hag? I don't believe there's one out there. So keeping Erik Ten Hag is important because it will allow us to develop our young players and it will allow us not to spend so much money on buying players. And if we develop them and they're not quite ready for our team yet, we can sell them for a lot of money. So, second reason to keep Erik Ten Hag is young players. The third reason to me is there's no better alternative. Let's be honest. There's no better alternative. There's not a single manager out there or has been linked with us. When I say out there, I mean that is available and obtainable, because out there could also mean Pep Guardiola, can also mean Klopp. But I mean a single coach that is available that we can obtain and hire today. There's not a single coach out there that's better than, let's say, all the coaches that we've been linked to. You cannot objectively tell me that they're better than Erik Ten Hag, because they're not. Probably the only person you have a case is Thomas Tuchel. So Thomas Tuchel is the only person you have a case with. But going back to my reason number 2, Thomas Tuchel does not develop young players. Erik Ten Hag does. And we have so many young players in our team right now, and we have so many young players that are coming up. And if the goal is to also start buying young players, we need a coach that knows how to work with young players. I don't think Thomas Tuchel is that. So the only comparable coach to him in the market is Thomas Tuchel. But Erik Ten Hag already have something he does better than Tuchel in his team, in his abilities. So therefore, I won't go for Thomas Tuchel. And every single person, you can line them up, they're not better than Erik Ten Hag, no matter how you judge football, no matter how you're trying to use data or anything like that. There's not a single metric. All of those managers are better than Erik Ten Hag. The only reason you would like to change would be that, okay, Erik Ten Hag wasn't your guy, and Ineos would like to put their guy in there. But let's look how that worked out for Chelsea. They sacked a good manager because it wasn't their guy, and they had to replace him with their guy. Turned out that actually he wasn't their guy, a third person. So Chelsea, within 2 years, they went to 4 different managers. I don't want that to be the case for my team. So let's stick with Erik Ten Hag. And the third reason is there's no better alternative than he is. So that's it. The fourth reason is injuries. Without injuries, I don't think we would have had a better season like we did. And a lot of people like say, oh man, that's an excuse. You shouldn't be using this type of excuse. Everybody get injuries. But no, like we got the most injuries we ever had in our season, and the most injuries in the Premier League season last year. If you truly believe that injuries don't play a part, what happened when Rodri don't play for City? When Rodri was suspended for 2 games, City lost 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row because Rodri was missing. And everybody said, well, they are not the same team without Rodri. That is one player. If you think injuries are not that important, what happened when Liverpool lost the entire defense? They finished 5th place, and it was supposed to be this great, like Liverpool era, great Jurgen Klopp team. They finished 5th without their defenders, and people say, well, it will cost the defenders. So why is Erik Ten Hag hold to a different standard with an even thinner squad than those teams? Man City has great players in every single position. Liverpool team was a great Jurgen Klopp squad, and in Liverpool case they missed the whole the center backs. They were terrible. City lose one player, they're terrible, and everybody say, well, it's because one player is missing. But you don't want to give Erik Ten Hag the same courtesy where he's missing 2 of his starting center back from last year for almost the entire season. Doesn't have a left back for the whole season. His defensive midfielder, between him being out of form and injured, it was missing. and like the striker he bought missed like some of the season with a back injury. So where is the consistency coming from? And if he keep telling y'all, when my team is fully healthy, you will see how we play. 3 games this season that I think we play incredibly well. Wolf, the second game against Wolf, where he had virtually almost everybody except Martinez. Incredible game, we won. West Ham, where he had everybody except Martinez again, and where he like incredible. And then against City, where he had everybody except Luke Shaw, and he was incredible. So yes, the injuries are a major part of this. And if we had not had that many injuries, I don't think we would have finished 8th. That's my 4th reason, injuries. The 5th reason I feel like is the biggest reason. This man had to put so much fire out this season because of the ownership. And that is my 5th reason, the ownership. It took you guys a year or a year and a half to get a deal done with the Glazers family. On top of that, he couldn't spend anything in January to improve team when we clearly needed a center forward and a midfielder, but nope, because everybody else was injured. He couldn't sign anybody. Like the people that he was working didn't even know if they're gonna be past this transition. And on top of that, some players revolt, the like of Jadon Sancho, and a terrible decision making from the CEO with Greenwood and so on and so. So amount of off the field issues that he had to deal with because of the ownership and the players in general was the 5th reason why I think Erik ten Hag should be kept, because I feel like moving forward he's going to deal much better with those stuff. And if you put a proper structure around him where he doesn't have to deal with the transfer side of the business, let him be the coach. Let him be the coach and actually coach the team. And let's say, okay, what do you need as a coach? He will say, I need a right winger. Okay, here's the options for right wingers. There's 3. Instead of him having to go pick his own players. And that is the problem. People are constantly blaming him for having too much power buying players. Who else would have bought players in Manchester United if it wasn't him? It's almost like we have a good track record of buying players, and then Erik ten Hag came and messed it up. It's more like he's trying to fix it. That's why he took control, because we had a terrible track record of buying players. And if he come to whoever was in charge at the time and say, okay, I need a right winger, and they don't go and bring him options of right wingers, and then he will like, okay, if you guys don't have any options, go give me Anthony, who's a player I know, and I coach him in Ajax. That's how that went. So again, it's fair if you take away the transfer of power from him, but you still keep him as a coach and as a manager. And the only party won't be heavily involved will be the recruitment side, because you should have a specialist in recruitment. But this whole thing that like the new roles would involve the manager being just a coach, somebody else will determine when the team train and how hard the team train. That's bullshit. That's rubbish. There's not a single coach out there would allow somebody else to set the schedule of when the team train or how hard the team train. No, it's up to the medical department to say, hey, you can't push this guy this hard this time because he's over the limit. But it's not their job to say, okay, you got to train today and then give them a day off tomorrow. No, that's not how it works. Every single manager has their own way of training the team because they want them to be fit for a specific system, and that's how it goes. Thank you guys and for tuning in, and if you're new, please subscribe and like, comment, just for the algorithm, let this thing go, okay? Thank you and peace.